The Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, reigniting a feud with an openly gay U.S. figure skater ahead of tomorrow's opening ceremonies in South Korea. USA Today is reporting that the Vice President tried to set up a meeting with Olympic skater Adam Rippon last month after the skater was critical of Mr. Pence, leading the U.S. delegation, saying, quote, "You mean Mike Pence, the same Pence that funded gay conversion therapy? I'm not buying it." The skater appears to be referencing a statement from Pence's 2000 congressional campaign website that read, "Resources should be directed toward those institutions which provide assistance to those seeking to change their sexual behavior." And of course, Pence, as governor of Indiana, was a big proponent of the state's Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which essentially allowed people to use religion to avoid laws mandating equal treatment for the LGBT community. We spoke with the USA Today reporter behind the story earlier this morning, CNN sports analyst Christine Brennan. Christine Brennan, it is not the Olympics without you. It is great to have you as always.
Thanks, Chris. Great to be with you.
Good. So this is a story where we have to get the facts and then deal with the implications. There is a dispute starting with the Vice President of the United States about what happened here. Give us the facts as you reported them.
On January 16th, I had a telephone interview with Adam Rippon, who had just made the U.S. Olympic team. Actually, at the time, the first openly gay athlete to be a Winter Olympian from the United States. And in the course of that interview, I asked Adam about Mike Pence being the delegation head, leading the delegation for the opening ceremonies. And Adam did not hold back. And he said, "You mean Mike Pence, the man who funds gay conversion therapy? I'm not buying it." And then he launched into quite an attack on not only the vice president, but the president of the United States, Chris. I quoted him, and the story appeared in the early afternoon of January 17th, published online, usatoday.com. Within 1 hour, I was hearing from the press secretary of the vice president, who was very angry, wanted to have a statement disputing this whole gay conversion therapy thing. We, of course, ran the statement, and that was it. Although, as a journalist, as you know, I continued to report the story. People called me with some details, and I was able then to break the news, in the last 24 hours, about the fact that Mike Pence wanted to have a conversation with Adam Rippon, and that Adam Rippon declined that invitation.
You had two sources on the intentions of the vice president to meet with the skater. Is that true?
That is, I had two sources that I mentioned. I also had another source who gave me deep background information and asked that, while I heard that information, as you understand the process,
sure,
that I not even mention that person as a source.
Great.
So there's actually three sources, and I cannot stress enough how people came to me over the course of a couple of weeks. This was one of the easiest sourced reporting jobs I have ever had in 35 plus years of journalism. This was a no-brainer. There was not even a shred of doubt. There should never be as a journalist, but this one, absolutely rock solid from the nature of my sources and the knowledge that they had about Mike Pence and his interest in wanting to talk to Adam Rippon.
Well, Christine Brennan, welcome to our world, where things that you can report out as true are often denied, even at the top echelon. So now let's talk about why Rippon doesn't want to meet with the vice president. He's openly gay. He's an advocate as well. He referenced the gay conversion. That goes back to about 2000 when the vice president was a congressman, and he was supporting funding for services for people who want to change their sexual behavior or orientation. What else could that mean but gay conversion therapy?
Chris, that's something, and words are important. I know you feel this way. I of course, do as well, that it certainly sounds like gay conversion therapy, but I asked the press secretary if she could give me the answer of what that was. And that was back on January 17th in our back and forth when I wrote the first story. And she did not give me an answer on the record. So she didn't even do that. And I think that's such a key part of this, because that's what Pence is saying, and that's why he was so angry with Rippon, and that's why he wanted to have the conversation with Rippon. Everything stems from that. I'm trying to get the answer to that, and the vice president's office just would not give it to me.
Well, it'd be easy enough to clear up if that were not what it was. Let's put up the vice president's tweet for people so that they can see the substance of the pushback. Headed to the Olympics to cheer on Team USA, one reporter, that'd be you, trying to distort 18-year-old non-story to sow seeds of division. We won't let that happen. Hashtag fake news. Our athletes are the best in the world, and we are for all of them. That statement aside, when you take what was said in 2000 with what was done by then Governor Mike Pence in 2015 with his very strong support and pushing of the RFRA, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which essentially allowed people to use religion to get around government mandates of equality. You put those two together, it's a fairly clear picture for any journalist, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. It is, Chris. And even more important for this particular story and the conversation of a figure skater and a vice president, which is kind of hard to believe that the vice president cares this much about it. That's the thing that hit me all the way through this, that he was even spending time on this. But you can understand how Adam Rapon, as you mentioned, an advocate, 28 years old, talks about being bullied, talks about how being here, he can represent a community and also hopefully for kids who are having some trouble in high school, that he can be a voice and a role model for them. You can understand why then he would be so concerned about wanting to deal with Mike Pence. But he did say that after he competes, he told me this on the 17th, he would certainly be willing to entertain a conversation with the vice president.
And the vice president did try to clean this up to a certain extent. Let's put up his other tweet. I want you to know we are for you. Don't let fake news distract you. I'm proud of you and all of our great athletes. And my only hope for you and all of Team USA is to bring home the gold. Go get them. It would be nice, Christine, if there could have been a clean break between the politics and the Olympics. Thank you for reporting it. It should be just about the Olympics, but it never is. Thank you for being with us this morning. Enjoy it. I look forward to your coverage.
Chris, thanks so much. Take care. Thank you.